and I only risked $3K on this trade.
And you made 25,000.
Yeah,
So it took
eventually.
$500 to almost 100,000.
I always wanted to do something big, something great with my life.
Guys, 3,000% in a year. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Surround Yourself with Greatness. And I'm really excited about this episode, mainly because I think a lot of you out there who are thinking about how can I make more money? How can I multiply my money? I think you're really going to benefit from this episode. And it's a young man, 25 years old, but super successful. And just sit back, relax, and make sure you get a pen and paper because he's going to be spitting so much game. So let's dive into it. Sire, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. So anyway, let's talk about you real quick. So dynamic and astute entrepreneur. And like I mentioned, 25. You graduated college 2 years ago. You had an opportunity to go work at one of the big firms, Goldman Sachs, but you turned it down. And since you turned it down, you've been able to grow your personal financial portfolio by 3,000%. Guys, 3,000% in a year. And you've been doing this by trading options. So I'm excited to have you on this podcast today because I really want you to share your story of how you've been able to do that. But also talk about how you're now helping people. Because for me, that was the part that I was like, you know what? I need to bring him on to Surround Yourself with Greatness because people need to know how they can maybe get this education of how you can grow your portfolio by 3,000%. So share with me a little bit about your story. How did you learn about trading? Was this something that maybe someone in your family was doing? Did you just stumble upon it? So how did it all start?
Yeah, so it all started from a major setback, and that was due to COVID. So right when 2020 hit, sent back home from campus.
So you're in college at this point in time?
Yeah, at this point, I was a junior in college.
Right.
Yeah, so got sent back home from COVID. So then from there, I had nothing but time on my hands. So I had like 8 hours a day of free time because all my classes were online.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so then I just got interested on YouTube, looked up how to trade options, learned a little bit. And then, with me, I have a addictive personality.
Right.
So once
I
got...
hope it's the good
right,
addictive side, right?
Definitely. So once I got interested in it, like I knew this is something that I wanted to fully dive into. And then I just took it from there. So a lot of, self-tutoring, self-studying. And then later on, I picked up a mentor. And then, everything's took off from there.
So I have a couple of questions right there. So where did you get the money? You're a college student. When I was in college, I was poor. So where did you get the money to start trading?
Yeah, so thankfully, my school, the University of Iowa, they gave us a COVID relief grant. So they sent every student about $1,300 or so. So with that extra money, there was a lot you could do with it. You could either go buy shoes, go buy a new iPhone, go buy a purse, go buy anything.
Right. Go on vacation?
Right, go on vacation.
Well, during COVID, maybe not. But that's something you could have done.
Exactly. So what I decided to do is I was like, I want to trade options. I don't have a lot of extra capital sitting around. So why not use this? It's free money.
So you grew up in a small town in Iowa. You went to Iowa University or
University of Iowa.
University of Iowa. University of Iowa gives you $1,300 during COVID. You're home. And you decide to use that as a seed.
Exactly.
Into you getting your financial freedom, so to say, right?
Right.
Versus just spending it on something that will just waste away. Well, what I like about that is I'm a Christian, and there's a biblical story in there in that, there's a parable of the 5 talents where, the master gave them 5, another one was given 2, and another was given 1. One who got 1 went to dig it into a hole. The one who got 2 put it to work. The one who got 5 invested it and was able to double it. So I get some insights there. So what is it like growing up in a small town in Iowa? Because when I hear people talk about investing, the stock market, the place that comes to mind, if I'm to be honest, is right here, New York City.
Right.
Where did you grow up in a small, like in Iowa? Like, what's the name of the small town? What was the vibe? A lot of traders coming out of that small town in Iowa. Like, just walk me through what that part of your life looked like when you were growing up in Iowa.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Super small town, population probably 200,000 people.
Right.
Now, with that, a lot of people, they grow up in Iowa, they live in Iowa their whole life, have kids in Iowa.
Never leave the state.
Right, never leave. But me, I knew I was different from the jump. I always wanted to do something big, something great with my life.
Yeah, that ambition, that drive.
Right, but I knew I would have to do something different than what all of my other classmates were doing.
What were your other classmates doing?
A lot of them went to community college, just went to school, ended up getting a job in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and just staying there.
Right. But for you, you knew that there was greatness inside of you. That's why we brought you to surround yourself with greatness.
Yeah, most definitely.
Good. And then at what point in time during maybe your college career did you figure out that, hey, you actually have it in you to be an entrepreneur?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my freshman year of college, I started a social media marketing agency.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so back then, started it online, pretty much all self-taught, and then ended up making my first 60 grand when I was in college.
So you made 60,000 as a college student?
Yeah.
Do you know some people make 60,000 working a 9 to 5?
Yeah.
So you were in school, taking classes, have a side hustle that you generated 60K.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so then from there, I was like, okay, I know I can do this entrepreneur thing. So I just have to find something that I'm passionate about, something that I like.
And something that has scale.
Exactly, and then I could just take it from there.
Got it. All right. So you graduate college in 2022.
Yep.
You've already proved that you are good at trading. And then you get that letter from Goldman Sachs that says, hey, congratulations. We are extending an offer for you to come and join us. For a lot of people, myself included, I would have taken it. But you're not most people. Mm-hmm. So why didn't you take that opportunity with Goldman Sachs?
It was the opportunity cost for me. When I was doing the internship there, it was great, but I could not trade. And I could not teach people how to trade.
Right.
So there's a huge opportunity cost.
So they handcuffed you.
Exactly, the golden handcuffs.
Right.
Right.
So for you decided to take a bet on yourself.
Exactly.
Rather than go into a big corporation, reputable, of course. But you were like, you know what? I'm young. I've learned this skill. Let me take a chance.
Right, definitely. And I had a lot of support as well. A lot of my coworkers that I worked with, they supported me. While I was working there, they told me, like, hey, like, you have something good going for you right now. If you're going to take this opportunity, now is the time to do it.
Right.
And also my parents as well. When I talked to my parents about, these are the two options, which one should I do? They both recommended that I bet on myself.
Wow. So if you're watching, that's something you should definitely consider. Sometimes taking that path where you're by yourself, that lone wolf, could potentially lead to some fruitful, delicious profits, as Sai is going to dive into in a minute. So you start trading on your own, and like anything, you're going to find challenges. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the big challenges you faced in your early stages as a trader?
Yeah, so a lot of it just came down to understanding the right information. Because with trading, there's so much information on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, but there are some things that you should know that are going to help you, and there's some things that are just going to make your life a lot more complicated. Mm-hmm. So for me, just understanding, how to simplify this the best way possible, that was something that I struggled with a lot of information overload.
So what you're saying is that complexity is the enemy for success.
Exactly. Keeping
things simple has helped you a lot. What about when it comes to managing risk and, having a trading plan? How have you overcome some of these challenges? Because I think every trader, when you take that trade, you're essentially taking on risk.
Right.
How do you manage that risk?
Yeah, so trading is similar to everything in life. Nothing can be done successfully without a system.
Right.
So you need to have a set system on, if I'm risking this much money of my portfolio, then as soon as, I lose this much, I'm out of this trade.
Right.
And just continue moving on to live another day.
Right.
So with me starting off, I didn't understand that. So I was, risking my full portfolio in one trade.
You were kind of like YOLOing.
Right, losing it and then having to restart all over again. But then I finally learned, with consistency, with risk management, you can actually grow something.
So I just want to make sure I don't miss this part. So you've blown an account?
I've blown several accounts.
Wow. Okay. So that makes me feel good because I've blown an account too. And I think a lot of traders out there have probably done that. And one of the things that I always tell people is that trading is risky. But the way I define risk is running into situations knowledgeless. In fact, I want to credit Josh Alufa for this definition, but it's so right? When you're trading, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to blow that account. And usually that's what a lot of new traders do, right? They go in, they just learn a setup. They are not able to control their emotions. And then before you know it, you blow your account. But what you're also saying is that if you have a system that enables you to manage your risk, you increase your likelihood of success over time. And that's what you have done. Okay, good. So you've turned down that opportunity at Goldman Sachs. Do you have any regrets now that you're kind of like looking back? Because usually in life, Vision 2020 is when you look back. When you're looking forward, you can't really see what could come out. So do you think it was ultimately a good move?
Yeah, overall, I believe it was a great move. A couple of things that I miss are just the social aspects. Getting to, collaborate with people.
Happy hour.
Day to day, happy hours and whatnot. Because trading is lonely. Yep. It really is lonely. So you just have to find a community with people that are like-minded and that want the same thing as you. And with the trading world, it's hard to come across, but once you come across that community, you always want to stick with it.
Right. Community is a big part. I definitely agree. So let's talk about some of your results. So graduated in 2020. Right now we're in 2024. So you've been trading for 2 years now. So what has been your biggest day trading?
Yeah, so biggest day was about 25 grand, just a little short of it.
Wow.
Yeah, about that.
Hold on. So you woke up. What time do you wake up?
I wake up at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. or 8 a.m.?
Or 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
30 minutes before market opens.
Okay, so this is Central Time.
Exactly.
All right, so you wake up 8 a.m., market opens at 8:30 Central Standard Time, and by the time the market closed at 3 p.m. your time, you had made 25,000?
Well, I actually made it a lot sooner than that.
So yeah,
I'll tell you the story. So this was probably the most busiest day of my life. So
what happened?
So I woke up about 15 minutes before the market opens, and I was trading SPY. Now I also had to go to Baltimore for a wedding, so I had to drive to the airport. I had to go through TSA, go through everything.
Right.
And meanwhile, I'm holding this trade, trying to make sure everything's correct. Got on the plane, bought Wi-Fi for it, still checking the trade or whatnot, and I only risked $3,000 on this trade.
And you made 25,000?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's one good day. Tell me, maybe in a month, what's been your best month?
Biggest month was 90,000.
90,000 in a month?
Yes.
So 20 days of trading, you made almost 100 grand.
Yeah, and this was while I was in college. So okay. So just to give you
in fact, you actually sent me the picture for that.
Yes.
Let's pull it up. There we go.
Yeah, so the time that this was, I was a RA in college, a residential assistant. So I was living in the dorms, and they paid us $500 to manage the dorms, manage the freshmen or whatnot. So off that $500, continued to grow it and grow it.
Compound it.
Right, and then
so
eventually.
So it took $500 to almost 100,000.
Eventually, yeah. Added in some money here and there, and had a very great month.
So why aren't all people trading options if this is the potential? Like in 1 month, $93,000. That's amazing. And then we also have this day where you made 30.
No, so this was my year to date for what was it?
2023 or
2021.
So 2021, you basically increased your portfolio by 3,000%. And let's take a look at another result. Sire came with receipts today, guys. I love that. Here you made what? 1,200% return in a day?
Yeah.
On Netflix?
Yeah, so as you can see here, this trade, I put $360 in. The next morning, woke up, it was worth $5,300.
So you took $360 to $5,400.
Yeah.
Overnight.
Yeah.
In one trade.
All from earnings. So that's the thing with trading.
Wow. Okay, let's keep going through some of the results. So we have this one. This is SPY. I guess this is where you entered.
This was actually this year.
Okay.
So this
2024.
was, yeah. So this was pretty recent. So with this trade, as you can see, my stop loss and target. So if you just follow the arrow, I'm simply showing you right here. I'm expecting the S&P 500 to take a major nosedive to the downside. And then for the next picture, here you can see eventually it happened. So that's the thing about the way I trade is I like to be very precise and very, specific about where.
And this was not a guess. This
No,
was
not at all.
following a system, a setup, which, from what I understand, you're mentoring people how to do this now.
Exactly.
Interesting. Let's take a look at another set of results. So November 2nd, 2022, you had $500. And 8 days later, it's 10x. It's 5,000.
Yeah. A lot of people, they always believe you can't start trading with a small amount of money, which it's not true. If you understand what you are doing, you can flip any amount of money.
So you took $500 to $5,000 in 8 days, in about a week.
Only because someone told me it was impossible. So I did it to prove a point.
Okay. So someone told you wouldn't be able to do it, and you're like, okay, hold my drink or
Right.
hold my beer, and then you went and you did it. Wow. So we'll dive into more stuff later, but for me, I think this is impressive because what you're basically showcasing through your results is that it's a skill that you learn, similar to driving. And once you know what you're looking for, similar to that SPY setup where you're expecting price to go down, you're able to go into the market, wait for your plan to set up, execute your plan, and basically leave with profits. And you know that there's obviously the underlying risk that the market might not move in the direction you anticipated, and that's why you have your stop loss. But for the most part, it seems like you're doing something right.
Right.
All right. Cool. Now, I'm assuming that your trading strategy has evolved over the years.
Definitely has.
What has changed from when you first started, $1,300 grant from University of Iowa, to now having had all of these successes? Walk me through some of the changes that you have had in your trading style that has enabled you to become successful.
Yeah, so I take it all back to, when I first started, I wanted to get every piece of the pie. If price moved up, I wanted to be a part of it. If it moved down, I wanted to be a part of it. I was good at everything, but I was a master at nothing.
Right.
So with me now, I wanted to be more, precise. I wanted to get good at one thing. And once I did so, I just stuck to it.
So it's more like the Bruce Lee quote where he says that he's afraid of the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times rather than a guy who's done 10,000 kicks once.
Exactly. And that's where it comes from.
So you've practiced one setup a lot of times so that when you see it manifest in the market, you know what to do, you know when to enter, you know your risk, and boom, you make your money.
Exactly.
All right. There's a lot of people who always subscribe to whatever society tells them. Like, hey, go to college, get a job, have a 9 to 5, work, get 2 hours vacation, like 2 weeks vacation, and then retire. But what I like about Sai's story is that although accepting that, he decided to create a life by design where he went and he learned a high income generating skill. Put in the time, don't get me wrong, he worked on it, right? Those 8-hour nights, like just learning the mistakes, the blown accounts. But at the end of it all, now you've been able to achieve financial freedom, time freedom, and potentially location freedom where you can live wherever you want because you have this skill. So not saying that don't go and have a job. Definitely do that if that's your calling. But if you're ambitious or driven, or you just want to make extra money, I think learning how to trade should be something that should definitely be on the table. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I tell people all the time, when you start trading, don't shoot for the stars. Don't try to make $1 million within your first year of trading, because it's highly unlikely you're going to do so.
Right.
I tell people, if you can use it to pay the phone bill, if you can use it to put money towards your mortgage or a down payment for a home,
your car,
right, so be it. Because that extra money is going to add up over the course of a year or course of a couple years.
Yeah, I like that because it makes it practical. So when I first started trading, I was like, okay, if I can build like a 6-month emergency fund, right, where I can just take profits and just have 6 months of my expenses paid for through trading, that's great, right? Once you have that, you tick it. And then you can say like, okay, now let me get into wealth creation mode. If I can make 20, 30, 40,000, maybe I put a down payment on a property. So now I have an investment property that has been paid off by trading options. And I'm of the notion, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. If you're an options trader, your eggs shouldn't just be in that basket.
Correct.
You should definitely use some of those profits to diversify, meaning that you can have long-term investments. You can literally buy the stocks that you're also trading but holding for a long term. You can have a whole life insurance policy. You can have other types of financial asset classes so that if things don't really go your way in the market, you've at least used the profits that you're making as you're trading to at least build your financial future. So I'm curious to get your thoughts as to how you're using your profits.
Yeah. So personally, I like fixed income.
Okay.
Like CDs, treasury bills, and everything of that nature, because it's safe. There isn't a whole lot of risk.
You know what you're going to get.
Exactly. Whereas, some of my money I do invest in mutual funds or give it to JP Morgan to invest for me. But when it comes to, building money off of short-term investments, I just do that all myself.
Got it. And then you have that money that's working in your favor and that you're building. How are you also then spending some of the money for fun? What are some of the fun things you've been able to do because you're trading options and you're making money as a trader?
Yeah, man, I love to travel.
Right.
I feel like with trading, it gives you a sense of freedom, and you should definitely enjoy it. So traveling is a big one.
Where have you been?
Man, I've been to Mexico quite a few times, been to Miami a lot, LA, New York, a lot of places.
You need to get out of the country a little bit more. Next time you want to come to Africa, let me know.
I need my passport stamped more.
So we've talked about the successes, and on social media, you see a lot of these gurus or gurus who are talking about all of their successes all the time. Let's talk about some of the bad days. So you said you blew an account. Can you go into a little bit more depth as to, did you lose 1,000, 5,000, 6,000? What was the amount that you lost in a day and over maybe even a period of time, so that people can maybe understand that, it's not just the successes, you also have to deal with some of the downsides. So what have been some of the bad days you've had as a trader?
Yeah, so I remember over the course of a week, I lost $6,000.
$6,000?
Yeah, and this is when I was in college. So
$6,000
to
the wallet
college
a little
student,
bit.
yeah. And especially at that time, I was paying for my own tuition, rent, and everything like that. So I was fully supporting myself. So $6,000 loss was a huge hit.
So $6,000 was a huge loss. And mentally, how did you deal with that? Because I think as a trader, dealing with losses could be one of the most difficult things. So how did you deal with that $6,000 loss?
Yeah, so I just took a step back, and I really had to figure out what I was doing wrong, and it all came down to me. It all came down to my mindset about trading, how I was handling emotions, my connection with money, and whatnot. So, I realized you have to be indifferent towards money, to actually be a good trader.
And how did you come to that realization?
just watching a lot of videos, watching a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of trial and error, and figuring out what it was.
So you're saying a lot about mindset. In your opinion, how important is having the right mindset to becoming a successful trader?
It's the number one thing. And mindset is the number one thing with anything in life. Anything you're successful at, anything you want to be successful at, all starts with your mindset.
Wow. So I want to switch things up a little bit. And you mentioned that you've had mentors in your journey as a trader. Are there any mentors you'd like to mention who have been critical in maybe developing your mindset, in your growth as a trader?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a family friend. He doesn't specifically trade. He does a lot of things, like a lot of different business ventures. But with him, he's always told me, your mindset is number one. If you're going to be good at something and you're going to be the greatest, yeah, there's going to be hard days. It's going to come. There's going to be a lot of stress. There's going to be a lot of pain. It's just a part of the journey.
How many times you get up is what matters versus how many times you fall down.
Exactly.
Okay. What about from the financial side? Are there any people that maybe were at Goldman Sachs or whatever that maybe you looked up to or learned from that have enabled you to, build your strategy and your mindset as you've been building your career?
Yeah, so really with working at Goldman Sachs, I really learned that connections is definitely something that's important.
Right.
And also kind of preserving your money. So when it comes to preserving wealth, or even in the case of a trading portfolio,
right,
extending it as long as possible.
That's what's going to lead to success.
Exactly.
Right. So you're a sports guy. Are there any athletes who have the mentality that you like to emulate or potentially even emulate and take with you into the market?
Yeah, so this is a quote from Kevin Durant, and I love this quote. I've been sticking by it since 2016. So it's hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard.
Whoa! That's a cool quote. This is my first time hearing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that you should actually have sticked up in your house or something.
Yeah.
In your room. All right. So there are a lot of people who might be watching this and they may be on the edge of starting their trading journey. What advice would you give them to maybe kind of take that leap of faith and, give it a shot? I know that trading is not for everybody, but you'll never know unless you try. So what pieces of advice would you give to some of the folks watching who are considering maybe dabbling into trading?
It's either day one or one day. That's all it is.
So it's either you're always going to be saying hey, one day I'm going to trade, or one day you wake up and say hey, this is day one of my trading journey.
Exactly. And you can't be successful at something if you never start.
Right. So, and you miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Right.
That's amazing. And you've started your educational platform, right? So you've become a successful trader, and one of the things that you've done is you've decided to make it your life's mission to help others become successful. Tell me a little bit about Vantage Education and what you guys are doing there to empower people.
Yeah, so Vantage Education, it all stemmed from me wanting to give people what I wish I had when I first started trading.
Right.
So the first couple of years of trading, it was a mess. Took a lot of losses, caught a lot of wins, and, just overall throughout that whole experience, I was lost a little bit.
So it was an emotional roller coaster for you.
Right, exactly. But I know if I had a mentor, if I had a group of like-minded individuals that, all wanted the same thing,
right,
that journey could have been expedited.
Right.
Could have been successful a lot faster.
And that's what you're doing with Vantage Education right now.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to talk about it in a minute in depth. But what I would want to maybe have you share a little bit is that if I was to sign up for Vantage today, right, say okay, I want to join the next mentorship or cohort, what am I expecting to get? I understand there's the community piece. I understand that, you'll be the mentor. What else comes with the program?
Yeah, so Vantage is a one-stop shop. It's the place where beginners can come, people who believe you're an expert can come, and you are all going to learn something new.
Right.
So I'm taking people from A to Z fully.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we have a lot of Zoom calls with me teaching on, how I trade, what's the best way for you to trade, because I'm different than you are, you're different than me. So I help you figure out a custom tailored plan that will help work with your schedule, work with, what type of things you like within trading and whatnot.
But it's all rooted in a strategy that enables you to make money.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's what obviously people are trying to do when they trade, is they're trying to make money.
Right. The goal is to make money, but the most simplest way.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things that I have as a surprise for you, and you don't know this, is that I actually have one of your mentees who's part of Vantage, who's going to join us in a minute, and she's going to share her story of being part of your program. So Nafisa, first of all, thank you so much for coming here. And I obviously wanted to surprise Sai with you coming here because when he agreed to do the interview, I was like, let me find a mentee who's in his program and have the mentee tell us their journey working with him. So how long have you been trading?
I've been trading for 4 years now.
Okay. And as you were telling me backstage, working mom, but you're dabbling with trading because you really want to have time with your daughter, right?
Correct, yes.
And possibly kind of like transition from kind of like having the 9 to 5 to becoming a full-time trader. And in that 4 years, at what point in time did you meet Sai or become a part of the Vantage mentorship program?
So I've met Sire on Instagram,
Okay.
where he posts all these reels on Mentee's success and his trading journey. So I'm always on Instagram, and I see a bunch of successful traders there posting their gains, their groups that they have, programs, and I'm always interested because I've always wanted to find a second source of income where I could have extra money to do stuff, take care of my daughter, have more quality time. Because, with inflation, everything's getting expensive. And
Right.
with the job, living paycheck to paycheck, it's always like, I need to find another way.
But the other big thing about jobs,
Yes.
though, is that you can always lose it, right?
Yes.
I'm reading in the news, companies are making massive cuts, right? So I personally think if you're just relying on your 9 to 5, you can get that pink slip one morning when you least expect it. And if you don't have a backup plan or like another skill that you can lean on to generate money, you could be exposed pretty bad, right?
True.
So I think you're thinking about it the right way, about having another skill that can help you. And you've been trading for 4 years now. Let's talk about some of the wins and, losses you've had throughout your trading. So let's start with the losses.
Since I started trading, I've lost around $50,000. Not managing risk. As a beginner, like as a rookie trader, I wasn't sure like how to take trades. I was blindly following alerts. I've joined previous discords. So with that, like I would generally take alerts, and with that, I would trade, not knowing the charts, not even knowing how to read the candles. No indicators. So basically, someone would alert a trade and I would just blindly take it. And with that, I would lose a bunch of money, but then some days I would win. I would make money like blindly. So one day I told myself I have to learn how to fish myself because, just taking the alerts won't help me be sufficient in the long term.
So you were just taking what someone says without you even validating, having that litmus test to say like, hey, is this information true? Like I could have just built a following on Instagram with bots, right? 100,000 bots following me, and you follow me and you just take a trade that I would alert, not knowing like, is this true or not? So that was pretty much what you were doing.
Correct.
And in my opinion, and forgive me, I think that's gambling, right?
It is, yeah.
But I love the fact that you've made the decision to say like, you know what? I want to become a self-sufficient trader, meaning zero alerts. I do my own charting. I see my own opportunities and I take responsibility for my wins and for my losses.
Right.
And for you to step into that direction, you knew you needed a mentor who could teach you that. And it just so happens to be Sai.
Yes.
So when did you join this program?
So I joined this program. I will actually first in December. Sire, he posted on Instagram.
So
that he was
December
having-
2023?
December 2023. I was scrolling on Instagram, trying. That day I was like not feeling well, and I was like, how can I make money? How can I make extra money? And somehow I saw Sire's story, and he was posting on December 2023 that he was opening up a mentorship, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god, the GOAT! He's having a mentorship. Like this guy, everything that he posts from like trades to like profits, like the way he enters trades like on YouTube. I was always admiring his moves and like everything he was doing. So I'm like, for a mentorship to open up, I'm like, I don't care how much it is, I have to take this mentorship. And so from there, I messaged him, I DM'd him on Instagram. I'm like, I want to join your mentorship. And then he got back. He's like, jump in, wait for the application. And I was waiting so patiently just to do it.
So how long have you been in the mentorship now?
So it's a 1-month mentorship.
Okay. So walk me through some of the results. Are you now that self-sufficient trader that you wanted to be? And what are some of the results that you've achieved along the way?
So in the beginning, I told myself that I wanted to do the whole mentorship and then trade. But somehow, the market, you itch
the
to
temptation,
trade. You're like,
huh?
the temptation. I don't know if I could wait till the end of the mentorship. And so after 2 weeks of like taking classes with him, I felt like
You're
had
confident
that sense,
enough.
like, oh, let me try a little bite. So from there, I deposited a couple $1,000, and then I took my first trade, and I was blown away. I made like 100%, and I posted
You made 100%.
100% on my first trade.
What?
Yes.
On your first trade, you made 100%. Are you
100%.
comfortable sharing the number?
Yes.
How much?
It's $2,000.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
So you took one trade after learning 2 weeks, and that trade, you doubled a $2,000 investment and you made $2,000 in a day.
Correct. And then the next day I made $1,500. The next day I made $1,000. And I'm like, what?
So at this point, the mentorship is now basically free, right? It's paid for itself.
I sent Sire a message. I'm like, Sire, thank you so much. I already paid for the mentorship. I'm already like doubled my account. And to me, that was life changing because before I could never have done that. Like,
wow.
This is something I've done independently by myself.
So, real talk. No BSing, and if it's not the reality, you can tell me. So could you confidently say that Sai has changed your life?
1,000, 2,000%.
By just learning what you learned in the mentorship?
Yes. So one thing about Sire is he's done something very different that a lot of other people that I'm exposed to. For example, like retail trading, using indicators in a trade. He just simplified it so much where I could look at a chart. I don't have to add a bunch of indicators. I don't have to make my chart really messy where I don't even know what I'm looking at one point.
Yep.
Because in trading, you have to make quick decisions. You have to, either enter, exit quickly. So looking at a chart now, I can confidently say, like, I can enter a trade. And if something isn't going my way, I know when to exit. And then I could admit that I'm wrong and then wait for a next setup.
Wow.
So that's a big thing for me because emotional side of me would never have done that before the mentorship.
So you're talking about emotional side.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how managing your emotions is really important if you want to be a consistently profitable trader?
I think to me that's number one because previously I have never known who I truly was emotionally. So when I started trading, that brought out my emotions and that made me so confused because I'm like, am I really a person like where I'm impulsive, I'm impatient, I want to take trades right away, I want to, hold on to a losing trade because I won't admit that I'm wrong.
But can I speak to that a little bit?
Yeah.
I think part of why you were maybe experiencing that is probably because you didn't really have a set strategy that was clear enough that worked, I think. Would you agree? Or
I agree.
100%?
Yeah, I didn't have a system before. I didn't know what I was doing. Everything was just like not knowing who I wasn't aware of who I am. Once I understood the emotional side of my side, psychological, like Vantage teaches you not only the trading aspect, but it teaches you psychology, it teaches you emotions, it teaches you like mental health. One of the best things that I've learned in this mentorship was mental health. Because when I used to take trades, I was so stressed out. I was like depressed if I lost. And afterwards, I would like hold on to this one grudge that why did I not exit my trade?
Right.
And so ever since like my mental health, my mindset was all set in stone, I took the trade, which ended up going my way, and then I know when to exit. So it really helped a lot.
Awesome. Now, for someone who's watching and they may be like thinking about trading, would you recommend having them take a look into Vantage?
I would start with Vantage first and then do whatever you want trading, because if you're going to start out by yourself, it's definitely going to be, like a roller coaster. You're going to be going through a ton of emotions.
Well, thank you so much for coming, and I wish you success. And next time we bump into each other, you're going to pay for the drinks because you're winning in the market. So congratulations, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, and thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
So, Sai, what are your thoughts about what Nafisa had to say?
It's amazing. It's amazing results so fast.
So 2 weeks, she starts learning your strategy with Vantage Education. Takes a first trade before the mentorship is even over.
Mm-hmm.
First trade makes 100%.
It all goes back to having your mentor that knows what to do and knows what to teach you.
Basically compressed decades into days.
Exactly.
Because it could have taken her a long time. She's been trading for 4 years. A lot of the stuff wasn't working. Takes your program in 2 weeks, boom, 100% trade, and she's been able to recoup her investment. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot of stories like that within your group, I assume.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, have easily paid for the mentorship over the course of 3 weeks, over the course of 4 weeks, all from the information that I've taught them.
Okay. So I want to do something a little bit different. I want to get to know you a little bit better. So we're going to do rapid fire questions. I'll ask you a question, and you can just say a quick one-word answer, and then we'll move forward. So, pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Pizza. Okay. Are you an early riser or you're more of a night owl?
Early riser.
Okay. 8 a.m. is not quite early riser.
For me, it is.
Okay. Window seat or aisle seat on a plane?
Window. I like to see where I'm going.
All right. Cool. What's your favorite dessert?
I'd say cookies and cream ice cream from Van Leeuwen's.
Okay. Where did you go on your last vacation?
Last vacation went to New York City.
New York City. All right. What was the last book you read?
The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
All right. And what is one hidden talent that you have that a lot of people don't know about?
I'm an amazing drummer. Amazing.
Were you part of the drum line?
Yeah, I've been playing the drum since I was like 3 years old. I played all the way up until my last year of high school.
Oh, wow. Cool. I didn't know that. So, Sai, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. I think your story is really inspirational. Can you maybe, before you go, share a little bit about what Vantage Education offers? And for those people who are interested, when is the next mentorship? Like, walk me through what some of those details are.
Yeah, so Vantage offers a rigorous course material.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, it's a full month-long course. I have a lot of other parts that, are really helpful.
Right.
So with that, with trading, emotions plays a big part of the game. So I have a professional therapist come in, and she does Zoom meetings with the people. I have people dedicated to teaching people about how to progress in their careers or whatnot, because, there's more to life than trading. Right. So with my mentees, once they're invested, I want to make sure that outside of trading, they are still growing.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. I don't know of any mentorship group right now that brings a professional therapist into the mix. So good job on that. So any last things you want to share, and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you're interested or you would like to reach out, you can message me on Instagram at Sire Abram. And you can also look me up on YouTube at Sire Abram, or you can check out the Vantage website.
And like I said, all those links are going to be in the description below. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you.
Keep what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing and changing the lives of people. And, I was getting goosebumps listening to that story from your mentee. And if there are more of those out there, I think you're doing a good thing. And one last thing, actually, I'm curious. How many mentees have you mentored so far?
So far, I've mentored over 500 total.
Over 500?
Yes.
Boom. Let's take it to 1,000.
Let's
and
do it.
Thank you so much for joining. Guys, we'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you enjoy. Signing out.